15 years before the Battle of Naboo, a young boy was born into a Tusken Raider clan on Tatooine to the tribe's war leader, Sharad Het. Sharad was once a Jedi Knight himself, apprenticed to Eth Koth, but ultimately he decided to leave the Jedi Order, and after crashing on Tatooine, was eventually adopted by the Tuskens. He had a son who he named Asharad, and began his Jedi training as soon as the boy was old enough. Shortly after the Battle of Naboo, the Jedi Council discovered that Sharad was still alive, and they sent Jedi Master Ki-Adi-Mundi to confront him, either to see if he could be brought back to the Order, or to make sure Het had not fallen to the dark side. The Hets met Mundi when the Jedi Master was in a fierce battle with a Krayt Dragon, and as part of a rite of passage for Asharad, the young Tusken Padawan killed the beast and removed one of its pearls. This initiated him fully into the Tusken tribe. However, this would not last long, as the bounty hunter and professional Jedi assassin Aurra Sing had followed Mundi into the Jundland Waste, killed Sharad Het, and escaped into the midst of a chaotic battle. In honor of Sharad's dying wish, Mundi took Asharad as his Padawan, and they left Tatooine together. Het went on multiple missions as a Jedi, including one wherein he was presented the opportunity to kill Aurra Sing and take revenge for his father, but he instead decided to spare her, although she managed to escape once again. It was because of this mission that Asharad recognized the darkness within himself and asked to be taken back to Tatooine, believing that just having desired revenge against Sing was enough to make him unworthy of the Jedi. This was when Jedi Master Anya Kiro, the former teacher of Aurra Sing herself, told Het that there was a darkness present in every living being, but that she could teach him to control it, offering to finish his Jedi tutelage in place of Ki-Adi-Mundi. Mundi agreed to let Kiro finish his training, and so Asharad became her student. In the years that followed, Het became a great Jedi and was elevated to the rank of Knight, even taking on a Padawan of his own named Bat Jewel, who met an unfortunate demise early on in the Clone Wars during a mission with Anakin Skywalker. Asharad Het fought many battles in the Clone Wars, most notably on Seleucami during the Outer Rim sieges, during which he and a handful of other Jedi helped Quinlan Vos defeat the Dark Acolyte Sora Bulk, who Vos had wrongly believed to be the second Sith that Count Dooku served. During the Great Jedi Purge, Asharad survived Order 66 and returned to Tatooine, uniting several clans of Tuskens under his leadership and waged war on moisture farmers and settlers, who Het believed, as had his father before him, that outsiders to Tatooine had stolen land that rightfully belonged to the Tuskens. His crusade against Offworlders would come to an end when Het's clan came dangerously close to attacking the Lars homestead, and Obi-Wan Kenobi was forced to step in to protect a young Luke Skywalker. Kenobi defeated Het in a lightsaber duel by severing his hand, which in turn caused Asharad to be exiled from his tribes, as without both hands, he could no longer wield a Gadurfi stick, and if one could not wield a Gadurfi stick, then they were no Tusken at all. After he left Tatooine, he became a bounty hunter, and sometime later, he chased a bounty named Rest to the Sith homeworld of Korriban, where he was called upon by the holocron of an ancient Sith named Zozan. Asharad spent many years on Korriban under the tutelage of Zozan, telling himself that he was not truly Sith, and that he only desired new skills that he could use to avenge the Jedi against Vader and Sidious. However, when he finally emerged from the Sith homeworld, he found that the Empire and the Sith were already long since defeated. He decided to flee toward the unknown regions, where he encountered and was captured by the Yuuzhan Vong, an extragalactic invasion species who would one day wage war on the entire galaxy. They found his force sensitivity intriguing, and so conducted experiments on him, implanting coral seeds in his body that would inflict mortal damage on him in the decades that followed. It was during this time of constant torture that Het had a vision of his own future, where he saw that order needed to be imposed on the chaotic galaxy, and that he would be the one to bring it about by recreating the Sith Order. His order would be one that allowed many Sith, but they would all be united under one purpose, which was to serve his will. He escaped during the Yuuzhan Vong invasion of the New Republic, and returned to Korriban, using it as a base to begin what he would christen the One Sith. He renamed himself Darth Krayt, after the beast which the Tuskens worshipped, and for over a century, he grew the One Sith in secret. Over time, the injuries that the Vong inflicted on Darth Krayt, coupled with his increasing old age, threatened to take his mortal form, and so for extended periods, he would rest in a stasis chamber on Korriban, where he was protected by his most loyal follower, Darth Warlock. By the time the One Sith made themselves known in 127 ABY, the state of the galaxy had drastically changed. The Jedi were once again many, and their temple was located on the planet Ossus. The Order's Grand Master was Cole Skywalker, a descendant of Luke and Anakin. In the place of the New Republic was the Galactic Alliance, which had a partnership with a new empire led by Roan Fel, a descendant of Jagged Fel and Han and Leia's daughter, Jaina Solo Fel. However, Krayt was able to orchestrate events so that the Alliance and the Empire waged war against one another, all while Emperor Fel was secretly working with the One Sith to achieve ultimate victory. After the Empire succeeded, Darth Krayt revealed his true intent and usurped the throne out from under Fel, declaring himself Emperor of the Galaxy. But Fel and his most loyal followers fled Coruscant and holed up on Bastion, where not even Krayt's forces could penetrate without seriously weakening their own numbers. As this was happening, Krayt's Sith led an attack on the Jedi Temple and committed yet another Jedi purge, severely diminishing their numbers and forcing those who remained to go into hiding. Cole Skywalker met his end in a duel against the Sith Lord Darth Nihil, but his son Cade managed to escape, abandoning the Skywalker name and becoming a pirate that was addicted to death sticks. 7 years later, Cade came up on Krayt's radar when he was forced to reveal himself as a Jedi, after being caught in the middle of the Sith-Imperial conflict on Vindaxa, and seeing that the boy had exceptional ability in the Force and a unique power to heal people even from the brink of death, the Emperor decided that he could use Skywalker to fully restore himself physically. He even managed to capture Skywalker, monologuing his past to the young Jedi and urging him to restore his health, but Cade defied Krayt and managed to escape Coruscant, enraging the Dark Lord of the One Sith. In a second attempt to capture Cade, he traveled to the planet Had Abaddon to meet with Celeste Morn, an ancient Jedi from the days of the Old Republic, kept alive by the Mur Talisman, an artifact possessed by an even older Sith Lord named Karnus Mur. Morn lured Krayt and his disciples to her so that Cade could ambush him along with several Jedi and Imperial Knights. The battle would prove to be nearly fatal for Krayt as the ancient Sith Lord badly electrocuted him and ejected him off of a cliff, but using the Force, he managed to save himself. He was still very weak, however, and in serious need of medical treatment, a fact which was then exploited by Darth Warlock, who finished Krayt off and carried the Emperor's lifeless corpse off of Had Abaddon. In this moment, Krayt drove his consciousness so deep within himself that his life force was undetectable even through the Force, allowing Warlock to believe he was dead when in reality, he was still very much alive, lying in wait. He sent his voice out to those who most loyally followed him, and the whispers were heard only by Darth Talon. Talon was not the only Sith to discover the truth about Krayt's demise, however, as Darth Malati began to suspect that Warlock had killed him and was lying about it, and she voiced those suspicions to Darth Nihil. He in turn traveled to Korriban to confirm whether or not Krayt was really there, and that's when he and Talon discovered that his body was missing. Back on Coruscant, Warlock informed the Imperials that Darth Krayt had suffered severe injury on Had Abaddon and was currently in stasis on Korriban, proclaiming himself as acting emperor and appointing a regent to be the public face of his rule. But shortly after solidifying his power, Warlock received word from Nihil that Krayt was missing, and he immediately traveled to Korriban to confirm for himself. He managed to convince Nihil that Talon had betrayed and killed Krayt and had evidently hidden his body somewhere, and so the Sith underling hunted her through the catacombs of the Tomb World. Talon and Nihil found Darth Krayt, who had restored himself to full health and sent out a call through the Force, proclaiming to all of his darkside followers that he was not dead. Soon after, Krayt and his followers stormed the Sith Temple on Coruscant, cutting down any one Sith who had sworn allegiance to Warlock, and the two rivaling Sith faced off in a duel. Krayt came out the victor, reclaiming his place as Emperor. As this was happening, Krayt's enemies were beginning to gather their forces and ally with one another, but his Sith were able to torture the location of the hidden Jedi base on Tavis from a captured Imperial Knight, and so he sent his legions to abolish the Jedi, once and for all. He did, however, allow Skywalker to learn of this attack and warn the Jedi, so that the Galactic Alliance and Fel Empire would send their full forces to defend the Jedi, and there he unleashed his secret army of Sith troopers, loyal only to him. The Battle of Tavis ended in Sith victory, and what remained of the Jedi, the Alliance, and the Fel Empire limped away to take refuge on Bastion, They then immediately began planning an attack on Coruscant, with Cade deciding that the only way to end this war would be to kill Krayt for good this time. He, along with a few Jedi and Imperial Knights, infiltrated the Sith temple and lowered the Sith's defenses so that the Alliance and Fel ships could strike on Coruscant, and he finally confronted Darth Krayt, engaging in one last duel with the Dark Lord. After finally killing Krayt, he took the Emperor's body and cast it into Coruscant's sun to make sure he was truly dead this time. After Het's final death, the one Sith scattered and went into hiding, with Darth Nihil as their de facto leader, planning to eventually make themselves known to the galaxy once more when the time was right. Which concludes the story of the Tusken Raider, turned Jedi, turned Sith Lord and Conqueror of the galaxy. If you'd like to read these stories for yourself, you'll mainly find them in the 1998 Star Wars Republic series and the 2006 Star Wars Legacy comics, along with their 2010 spin-off Legacy War. Darth Krayt also appears in the Fate of the Jedi book series. But that's all I've got for you this time, so for now, thanks for watching, and have a great day.